Hello and welcome to another DRG Deep Rock Galactic video. Today I've got a fairly interesting one, I certainly hope so. I've been putting plenty of time into characters. I've got each character now to at least the second promotion, coming on to the third, so around about, I don't know, 100 hours played, so I know sort of what I'm doing. But today I want to focus mainly on Driller, and by mainly I mean only on Driller, because it is a Driller tips video. I'm just going to kick it straight off and say, if this is what you guys are coming here for, I'm just going to start putting on screen now the loadout I use, which is usually the flamethrower sticky flame. It's really easy to use, great crowd control, great single point, high damage if you want, so I'll put that on screen now if you guys just want to see that quick and then click off just to get some ideas. If not, if you want to stay, you know, it's always appreciated, and we'll start giving some tips. No particular order of importance or anything like that, just a few tips I got from my time playing. So, first of all, when you are doing a single point defense mission or a dreadnought mission, please drill the area to your advantage. I'm going to have on screen two examples, and example one will be where I've not drilled the area. The area is fairly clumped up, there's a lot of things in my way, I'm getting a lot more panicked because I just don't have that free flow. The second example is going to be an area where I have opened it up a little bit more, not as much as maybe I would have if it was a level 5 hazard, for example, but I opened it up more and I just had so much more freedom, so much more space. It's just beneficial, not just for you, you know, if you're playing solo, obviously, then, you know, it's going to help you, but it's going to help your team as well. It's really going to let your scouts maneuver about, it's going to let your gunners get into better positions. All of this stuff really goes a long way, so just clear that area, and realistically, it will take, what, 10 driller fuel to clear an entire, you know, cave's worth of area. It's really easy, really quick, may as well do it. And you know, this could, like I say, just making the area more open, or even making a corridor to defend against swarms. A good tactic is to essentially, and I'll probably not have this on screen because it explains itself, make a really long corridor, okay, that just goes on for as long as you want, then make a small room in that corridor, and everything is just going to start tunneling down that room. Be careful of the big boys, obviously. Things can obviously dig towards you in terms of dreadnoughts, stuff like that, but this can work quite well quite often. You know, if you've got a swarm come in, you don't have time to set up, just start mining a big old chamber. You're going to be pretty set up, especially if you've got sticky flames. Most things will be dead before they've even got sort of halfway through. Secondly, and this is a big one, you can drill hazards. For example, the electric and radioactive crystals, you can just drill them to stop them affecting your team. Now, the radioactive ones can be mined and you take a lot less damage. Ones that really get you are them electrified crystals, kind of like Thor's dick sticking out the floor. They just start linking with everything else and getting you, and they can kill you. I've seen teams be wiped just because no one kind of realises that all of a sudden they turn on and boom. Don't mine it with your pickaxe, you get your drill out. You focus right on where it's going into the ground or into the wall, and you just ever so quickly mine through. As long as you mine the very bottom, it will destroy it, and all of a sudden, boom, your team's able to live, you're able to move, you're able to do things, and you don't have to worry about slowly walking around them or anything like that. Please do it. If you're a driller, this should be like a huge priority in areas that have the electrified crystals. Right, another one. If you don't have a scout, you know, and there's minerals high up, let's say you look up and there's some gold right up above, and I'm not talking about on the ceiling here because, you know, no one could be bothered to do that, but if there's gold right high up, just drill to it. You can pretty much drill straight up with a simple technique of look up, keep holding your drill, and keep jumping like an absolute madman, and you'll just start going upwards. If there is like a slight angle, like it'd be like a, I don't know, like a 3 or 4 degree angle, so it will slightly move you along, but for the most part you can drill straight up, get what you need, simple as that. Another one, make sure your dirt dividers, so the areas that separate each sort of location, are open enough for at least 2 people. You know, you don't want to get stuck, especially if you've got something like an oppressor coming, or you've got a dreadnought coming for you. You want to be able to get through easily. So, you know, if you're on your own, it's not as important. But if you're in a team, try and open it up for at least 2 dwarves at once, so you can comfortably get in and out and retreat safely if you need to. And the flamethrower, right? I'm just going to talk about this for a moment now. The flamethrower is, I would say, the best all-round weapon in the game. I would recommend it to new players. Obviously, if you're new to drill, it's going to be the only weapon you got. But, you know, even if you've only promoted 2, 3, 4 times, there's no reason not to use this gun. It does everything. It has amazing crowd control. You know, you can start throwing flames down a long corridor, and all of a sudden you're taking out, you know, 15, 20 enemies at a time. It's pretty decent against the bigger boys. You know, dreadnoughts, it's not going to blow you away with the damage, that's for sure. You want to be using your other equipment for that. But for pretty consistent medium sort of range, medium damage, there's nothing this can't do. You know, you can be ticking away their shields or their health, and then you've got your other classes maybe going to doing the main damage, but you are certainly going to be helping. Believe me on that one. You are certainly going to be helping. In terms of overclocks as well, pretty much every overclock I've used has come in pretty handy with this. I love the straight up clean overclock, which I showed at the beginning, which just gives you more sticky flame duration, because I love sticky flames. I mean, I love to just walk into an area and spin around in a circle, and all of a sudden, boom, nothing can touch you within 15 meters. So bear that in mind. If you're struggling, maybe use the cryo cannon or even a sludge pump, which I just can't get on with. I struggled to use it. I'm still learning. Going back to a flamethrower is always a good choice, and it's always going to be beneficial for you and your team. A big one, and this is a big one. Be careful with your bombs. It can literally wipe your entire team. So I see a lot of people equip the bombs with all the damage they can. So you can obviously increase its damage, I think, in 2 separate categories. It has an insane damage output. Now, this is great. It is, you know, a dreadnought. This is absolutely going to natter its, you know, health bar down. But you know what it'll also do? Is absolutely rim your ass. You know, you're going to have times where you see a driller run in and they throw the C4, and it's just this moment of, oh shit, because they don't wait for it to land, and boom, all of a sudden 4 people on his team dead. I have personally probably failed 3 missions because I've accidentally blown up my entire team without even thinking about it. Just try not to. Now I make sure I throw it out, I wait till it's landed, and I usually give it 5 seconds. It's kind of a little 3 to 5 second rule. I throw it out, wait at least 3 to 5 seconds, and then blow it up. At least by then, anyone that's seen it can get out of the way. Please, stop blowing us up. And you usually have enough drill fuel as well to at least drill straight back to the pod. So I believe the drill holds, I don't know, 30, 40 fuel. I don't know off the top of my head. Sometimes, if you've been digging a lot, you might be low on fuel. But before you head back to the drop pod anyway, you're more than likely going to pick up some ammo, something like that. If you get your drill out and you look towards where the drop pod is and start digging, usually someone else on your team will happily follow behind and protect you while you're digging straight to it. This is by far the easiest and safest way. Obviously, if you know exactly where you're going through the caves, then, you know, do that. It's going to be quicker. But there is no reason not to just drill straight back. And there is certainly no reason that if you have a driller on your team, your whole entire team shouldn't get back to the dropship. Simple as that. You can go straight there, make a literal A to B tunnel, bing bang boom, everyone is safe, everyone's happy. This can also be used if, let's say you get back to the dropship and someone on your team gets a bit confused about where they are, drill straight down to them to help them out. I often see people with the pickaxe slowly drilling through sort of areas. Just pull your drill out and help them out a little bit, you know, because a dwarf in need is a friend indeed. There we go, and I'm going to put that on a shirt and sell it. Right, the pistol. You've obviously got multiple weapons, primaries, secondaries, all that. But for me, the standard pistol is probably my favourite. Now, it doesn't have good damage. It doesn't have good fire rate, and it doesn't have good ammo. But you know what it does have? It has okay damage, okay fire rate, okay ammo, and okay range. And that mixed together makes for a pretty reliable backup weapon, especially for them longer ranges. You wouldn't believe how many times I've had a spitter just shooting down its gunky white fluids at me from above, and my flamethrower hasn't been able to reach, and so I just pop out this bad boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. He's dead. Easy as that. I prefer this to pretty much any other secondary in the game, and that's mainly just because of its reliability. It doesn't excel at anything. It certainly doesn't wipe teams or, you know, swarms, but it does do a good amount of damage in them tight-knit sort of areas. And lastly, I think we'll talk about just some good perks and abilities. I want to try and keep the videos a little bit short, just to give you the information. I don't want to be sat around, you know, wasting time, but I don't need to be. So, in terms of good perks, Vampire is a must-have on Driller. The other classes can be iffy, but Driller, pretty much everything you have is going to be giving health. So, if you use your throwing axes, it will give you health on a kill. If you use your drills, it will give you health on a kill. Everything you basically do, if it looks remotely like a melee weapon, then it will give you health on a kill. This has saved me so many times you wouldn't even believe. And it kind of allows you to get down to ridiculously low health, because if you start panicking, you just throw an axe someone, you just, you know, stab someone, life's a good one. A couple of other ones I like. Fawns I would recommend on every class. I think this is kind of a must-have perk. The amount of times that, you know, you start getting swarmed by them little ones, you just can't see them or hit them. So absolutely, I will always recommend Fawns on every class, every dwarf. I don't care. Every build, you need it. And then the final one, really pick whatever you want. I quite like more defensive sort of ones for Driller, because you're not always just moving around like a madman. You know, you often stay in a corner with your flamethrower, so maybe resupplier for when you're next to a sort of resupply pod can always be good. And then in terms of abilities, my favourite combination on Driller is Berserker and Iron Will, for a very good reason. You have Vampire on there, let's say you've not got a Bosco with you, or your team is all down apart from you, you pop the Iron Will, you start going berserk, you start getting so much health back. It's always a guaranteed way of not messing up your Iron Will. Put it like that. And that's it. A nice, simple, definitive tip list for you. There's going to be plenty more. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, if it might be Scout or Engineer. You know, if you have a preference, let me know in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed, I'm glad. You know, I'm not going to ask you to drop a like. If you want to do that, but you know, I want you guys just to be able to learn as well as I did, and hopefully play more of this game, because it is damn good. As always, fellow dwarves, rock and stone, and I'll catch you next time.